Malta is heading to Malmo this year with Sarah, Bonnici, and Loop. But will we be playing this one on the loop? Let's review Eurovision.
That was the most northern you ever sounded. On the loop.
Loop. On the loop.
On,
On the loop.
on the loop.
So Malta is heading to Eurovision this year with their song Loop. Now they've had a pretty unlucky streak at Eurovision the past couple of years. They haven't made it through to the grand final for a couple of years. Two, three. But will they fare any better this time? Let's have a listen to their entry. Oh my God, you got me on. Because of me about the bad things on. Let me tease you, boy. You love it when I move. Got you on loop. Your head all night, you got me on loop. So that was Malta's entry for this year. Jack, what do you make of it?
I love it. It's so cheesy. It's so camp. It's so much fun. But not in a fun, like Estonia sort of just go along with it way. I just think it is just camp. And I can't quite put my finger on why. Because we all know what it's trying to do. It's trying to be slow-mo. It's trying to be fuego. It's trying to be unicorn. You know, it's trying to be the girl bot
Girl
that
bot.
it's trying to be the girl bot that lands in the top three. And it's not there. And I can't quite put my finger on why it's not there. I mean, I was going to ask you this. Why do you think, because a lot of Eurovision fans do not have this anywhere near their top in the way that Slow-Mo and Fuego were. Why do you, what is different about this?
I think they're just better girl bops. I don't know what in particular. I think it's just not quite there.
And that's what I mean. I can't put my
And it's
finger
like
on it.
I can't put my finger on exactly why the formula hasn't quite got them there. It's just yeah.
That's exactly why that's where I am with it because I mean I love it anyway. I'm not raving about it as much as I was about like Fuego or Slow-Mo. It comes across as just a little bit camp, a tiny bit tacky. That's not a bad thing because I think it goes along with it. But maybe it's the word loop. It's not the easiest. It's not the
Not a
most.
sexy word.
It's not a sexy word.
It's not fuego.
It's not fuego. It's not slow. You know what I mean? There's just something. Maybe it's just the
I mean
word.
unicorn isn't a sexy word either, but
It's not, but I think maybe that's it. And like you, I can't put my finger on exactly why we aren't talking about it as like this year's top three. But that said, I think the revamps have worked because the original version, they've had three versions of the song now. The first one was a bit meh. The first one felt like it was made in a basement. The second one was slow-mo. I mean, you could hear it in the background, it was slow-mo. And then I think this third and final revamp has kind of disguised it enough to make it sound like a different song. And it's it's pretty polished, I think. The music video, I mean, the dancers are quite dishy, let's put it that way. I quite enjoy a couple of them in particular. But I just really enjoy it. It's good fun and it makes me want to dance along with it. So I mean, plug number 4, I'm going to the Eurovision second semi-final. When it opens the show, I am going to be boogieing along to it because it is a great way to start the show, to their detriment, as we'll talk about in a little bit. But I just enjoy it. And it's probably, with the exception of Destiny, it's probably my favorite Maltese entry, I think.
interesting.
And to be fair,
I
I actually think I maybe I prefer this to Destiny, to be honest, purely because it's more fun.
oh come on.
Maybe
Come
because
on.
it's more fun. Like Destiny, like Je me casse was like slick. It was like professional. The staging was hideous. Like what the hell were they all wearing? The staging was awful. But I think just if I'm thinking about a song making me happy, this is my favorite from Malta.
A despair. I think this for me is it's trying to be girl bop and it's more like girl flop.
Oh.
Oh, I was quite that just came to me on the spot. I was like, what rhymes with bop? And I was like, oh my God. What?
That
Yeah,
is
for
very
me,
hard. That is so
I
hard.
just I'm really like the spoiler, it's opening semi-final too. I'm so surprised that they think it's worthy of opening semi-final too. I just think in terms of that kind of genre, it's just not, it doesn't quite do it for me. It doesn't wow me. It's not in the same league as one of the other kind of girl bops this year, Cyprus. I just don't think it gets there. It's I don't find it catchy enough. I skip it when I listen to it. I think it's yeah, it's girl bop on the cheap. There's not enough production in it.
Pound and girl ball. Um,
Well,
that's interesting though, because I prefer this to Cyprus. I think Cyprus is basic, whereas this is fun. I don't feel any fun from
Cyprus is
Cyprus.
basic, but it's a tried and tested formula that they've like just revamped again. Whereas I think Malta just I can't pinpoint what it is about it that's not doing it for me, but it just doesn't. I just think it's not a great girl bop, and I'm surprised that it's opening semi-final too. And so on that subject, do you think it's making it through to the final, and where would you rank it personally?
I'm half contemplating going to semi-final two wearing entirely black, purely so that I'm already dressed in mourning for this song, because I do unfortunately struggle to see it in the final, which is really sad because I do enjoy it. But Malta always struggles anyway. And they struggled when it was a televote and jury system in the semis, and they are now extra struggling now that it's just televote only. Destiny broke the model, but other than that, Malta, I don't think Malta has ever featured in the top 10 of the televote, maybe, other than Destiny when she won it. So they're up against it anyway. Plus going first in the running. Well, I actually think I think it's a good show opener. Actually, it's got energy. I probably, if I were doing it, I would have put Austria first, because then that rules out them being first in the final, and I think that it would be a bit louder. But I think if you don't want to put Austria first 2 years in a row, you pick this. So I think it's a good show opener. And I think just the combo of it's Malta and it's first is kind of unfortunately, and it's just not, for whatever reason that we can't pin down. It's just not that level of fabulous. I kind of see it struggling. If it was in the semi-final one, I think it would have gone through. But this one, I'm struggling. And you're gonna crucify me for this. I came into the video going to give it an 8, but I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna give it a 9. I love it.
You're putting this over Estonia.
Oh no, oh
Yeah,
no, I'm gonna give it the
backhand.
same. It's gonna give it an 8.5 as well. It's the same. I love them both. It's like my children. I can't pick between them.
Oh,
One of them is a drug addict child, and the other one is like a slut. And I can't, I can't, I love them both.
can't pick your favorite.
So yeah,
Well,
it's an 8.5 out of 10 for me.
there we are. Yeah, I can't see it getting through to the final, particularly for kind of a lot of the reasons you said. Malta does just struggle, and I think without kind of a powerhouse vocal like Destiny, it's just they're just unpopular. It's so strange because I mean I loved last year's entry. I was
Yeah.
so here for kind of trumpets and camp, whereas this I'm like can't even get enthusiastic about this. If it does get through to the final, I think it's a potential for coming last. I just think it'll get kind of drowned out. You're going to hate me for this ranking. Me, it's a 5.
But actually, in fairness, I was expecting lower, to be fair. I still think
Okay.
that's criminal, but I was expecting, given how just meh you are about it, I was expecting more like 3 or 4.
Okay. I'm being generous there.
Yeah, I'll take
Mm.
it. I'll take it. Well, I love it. Whose side are you on here? Normally, we're pretty much on the same page, but do let us know in the comments. Are you on side it's fabulous, or are you on the side it's pretty
Girl
average,
flop.
or girl flop? Girl bop or girl flop? Tell us in the comments. And you can also sort of like and subscribe as well. If you subscribe, hit the bell, you'll get notified every time we upload new content. Plus, we're in podcast form. If you want to not look at us and you want to listen to us and find out what we think there, you can find that wherever you listen to your podcasts. So thank you very much for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time.